Another noteworthy painting that has handprints on the back is the painting of Shingkyong Rag-gyal. This is a kind of a protector deity, but also a wealth deity from the Chamdo area of East Tibet. Not all that common, very specific to the region. And it is HAR number 712. Now, this painting is really interesting, not because of so much the front. The front is simply the Shingkyong with some retinue figures, a couple of teachers at the top, Chana Dorje, and then some another figure that I'm not sure who it is. I'm not sure what's going on with the top completely, but it does descend from Nyingma tradition. Now, what's really interesting about this painting is the reverse. On the reverse, we get to see at least 4 handprints. It's possible we have a fifth of a very small child, but we definitely have 4 that we can see very clearly, and they're not all done in the same color. One appears to be done in more saffron, or 2 or 3 of them appear to be done in saffron. One appears to be done in vermilion, sindura powder, iron oxide. So on the back, in the center, what we have is a yantra, a very large yantra. In the middle is actually a mantra. Around that is a 6-spoked weapon wheel. And then around that are 1, 2, 3 concentric circles of 2 of them with mantras. And then the third, possibly Vajras, and then outside of that is a ring of flame. Now, surrounding this wheel, we have 4 very clear, very distinct handprints, and they're not the same. They're 4 different people. 2 of them we know quite well. The 9th Pakpala Ngawang Lobsang Jigme, and he lived between 1849 and 1900. And then we have the 5th Shiwala Lobsang Dundrup Jatso. The Pakpala and the Shiwala are 2 of probably the most important Gelug-palamas of the Chamdo area of East Tibet. Very important in history since the time of the fifth Dalai Lama. Now, what is interesting here is on the viewer's left side, the large handprint is that of the 5th Shiwala, and the very small handprint directly above the yantra and the wheel, the korlo, the yantra diagram in the middle of the composition. The small handprint above, which is clearly the hand of a small child, maybe 5 to maybe 10 years old, very small child. That is the 9th Pakpala Ngawang Lobsang Jigme. So, if he was born in 1849, then it's possible that this painting was commissioned in maybe 10 years later, so maybe 1859, maybe a little later, maybe a little earlier. So these inscriptions on the back and the handprints, because each of these handprints has an inscription. There's even a 5th inscription, but very short, and there's just a very vague possible outline of a tiny handprint. So it may be another young incarnate Lama, maybe. So this reverse of this painting is very, very interesting for the study of handprints, for the purposes of blessing the overall painting, the composition, and for the deity on the front. The figure on the front is generally regarded as a worldly deity, so it's helpful to have the handprints or blessings of teachers to help contain the worldly deity in case they get a little bit out of hand. And this is also why many worldly deities in paintings have Vajrapani, a very small Vajrapani painted at the very top, or sometimes a Padmasambhava, but more often a Vajrapani. The Vajrapani helps to be a policeman, to keep the worldly protector or worldly wealth deity or worldly mountain deity, to keep them in check. So, an interesting painting. It's worth looking at in a little bit more detail and a little closer. So, please press the like button. You can subscribe and you can help support HAR on Patreon.